describe aura as producing energy to restore freshness into indoor air to make indoor air behave as fresh, healthy outdoor air. I think we all have an idea of what fresh air is. We certainly know the difference. When we step outside, that air feels different, it breathes different, it makes us feel better, and as opposed to being inside where so often the air is stale and heavy, and we just know the difference. And you cannot mistake fresh air from indoor air. But the question is, what makes that outdoor air fresh? So let's take a little bit of a look at outdoor air. There's three things that you really need to know for sure. And that is, number one, fresh outdoor air is a renewable resource. And we're going to talk about that renewable a little bit. Number two, the freshness in the air is what causes the air to be able to break down pollutants in the air every single day and to restore the air to its natural healthiness. Number three, every single animal living on the surface, whether it is us, our children, our pets, even the plants that we have in the house, all depend on this freshness in the air for a healthy existence. So let's talk a little bit about what causes that freshness and what that freshness really is. Let's talk about the air to begin with. If we consider the air just as a whole, it is really nothing more than a mass of individual molecules. And if you look at the composition of the air, you will see that the air is primarily made up of ordinary ingredients. It's made up of the nitrogen in the air, it's made up of the oxygen in the air, it's made up of the water vapor in the air, and those three things alone add up to about 99% of everything that's in the air. And all of the rest of the molecules that are in the air are part of the 70 other constituents that normally appear in the air and the thousands that appear in industrial polluted air. But let's just focus on the bulk of the molecules that are in the air. So of those three molecules, let's just focus on, because they're very stable molecules, they react very slowly with things in the air, they're very stable, they don't change very much from day to day or even from night to day. But if you look closely at those molecules, you see that there's also an unstable version of each one of those molecules. And what I mean by that is this. If we just take a look at the water vapor molecule, which we'd all recognize as H2O, that's the stable version of it. But the unstable version of it is when that molecule is kind of broken apart and we get free hydrogen, we get free oxygen, or oxygen at least that's more activated, and we get hydroxyls, and we basically have all these active ingredients. Now, those active ingredients, as opposed to their stable versions, are highly reactive. And it's those individual molecules that react quickly with the pollutants that are in the air to help restore the air back to its natural freshness. Now let's consider the other side, the earth itself. You know, natural earth is not necessarily a very clean place. If you just consider the fact that everything that we do when we live on this earth, everything that the animals do, everything that the plants do, tend to make that air dirty. Just think about it. Plants put carbon dioxide in the air. Plants live and breathe and die and decay. Animals live, breathe, die and decay. And if you just take that natural cycle of life, you'll notice that somehow that all has to be brought back into the earth and be made stable again. So look at what happens now. Every day things are living and dying on this earth, and they're being, the molecules are being put into the air. And at the same time, those active molecules that were created out of the stable molecules of the air are working to be able to destroy and recreate and resuscitate the earth by breaking those molecules down and returning them to their natural state. Now, that's a balance, because every day the things are going into the air, and every day new molecules have to be made to be able to work with it. Where do they come from? Well, they come from the energy of the sun. You see, the energy of the sun works on the individual stable molecules and breaks them apart. And when they break apart, those unstable versions, the hydrogens, the oxygens, the hydroxyls, and yes, even free electrons are created as nature continues to reactivate the air. And you can imagine what that means, because there's a balance that takes place. Every day a certain amount goes into the air, every day a certain amount has to be taken out of the air. And the end result is, as nature cleans itself up, there's always a balance of these active ingredients in the air, so that's what really gives the air its freshness. So I think now you can see when I say that it's those unstable molecules that are responsible for restoring the earth back to its natural state, breaking down pollutants, if you will. You can see how that works. But the other aspect of it is that the bodies that we have, the bodies that our pets have, the bodies that our plants have, were all designed to work in that environment, that exact same environment with those active, unstable molecules in them. And when those molecules are not there, the body is deprived of things that it needs to remain naturally healthy. And I think you can see that as our lifestyle has changed and we spend more time indoors than we do outdoors, and indoors there is no source of energy to replace those unstable molecules, that the body is deprived of elements that it vitally needs to remain healthy. Aura then produces the energy to create the unstable molecules that create the healthy environment that we experience outside.